always, plenty of emotions this time of year as we remember those lost in the events of 9/11 and honor those who emerged as heroes. Welcome to San Diego, everyone. I'm Ron Pitts, and this is Fox, and this is the 2011 NFL season. Yes, it is happening. I would like to bring in my partner, my new partner, Mr. Jim Moore, the coach. You know him. Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Ronnie.
Boy, always good to play football. It was a little iffy for a while, but we're going to do this thing.
Well, you know, football in America unites us. It's a common denominator.
Yeah.
And I think in this case, it's helped us heal.
We talk about the business at hand. These two teams, the Minnesota Vikings and the San Diego Chargers. Let's start with the Chargers. The Chargers are a team that a couple years ago should have probably been in the playoff, been in the Super Bowl. They weren't. They've got a great quarterback. They've got the numbers, number one offense, number one defense, but they have bad starts.
Well, there's a real sense of urgency here in San Diego to get off to a great start in September. They've got to start 1-0 today in order to do that. You mentioned the quarterback. Phillip Rivers starts this season with a healthy Antonio Gates, a happy Vincent Jackson, his best pass protector in Marcus McNeil on the left side. This is going to be an explosive group.
Meanwhile, for Minnesota, just about everything bad that could happen last year, I think, did happen last year. Leslie Frazier takes over as the head coach. He's got high expectations, and they bring in a quarterback that everybody has high expectations for, and that's Donovan McNabb.
Well, Donovan is invigorated. You know, I think he looks at last year as an aberration to what's been a great career for him. He's happy, he's healthy, he likes the system, and of course he's got this guy, number 28, the league's newest $100 million running back, that if things aren't going well in the passing game, he can turn around and he can give it to him, and he'll make some things happen for this Viking offense.
Adrian Peterson and my partner referencing the contract extension he just signed yesterday. 7 years, $100 million, the highest paid running back in NFL history. The Minnesota Vikings, a year that saw just about everything last season. Roofs falling in, game venues changed, games postponed. And one thing that Leslie Frazier said he was so impressed with this team regarding that was the fact that they were resilient and that they were tough. And he wanted to see that carry on into this year.
Well, they were 3-3 down the stretch with him as the head coach. They had to overcome 5 games that were not at their stadium. Remember the snow games, and they did a heck of a job with that.
Neither team made the playoffs last year. They want to get back to the promised land. That's Percy Harvin. Harvin switching directions. He's got a lane and then some. Percy Harvin across the 30. Opening kickoff of the 2011 season, and Harvin will score. No flags are down. $103 yards, and there's a look at Richard Bisaccia, the Chargers special teams coach. The Chargers were horrible in special teams last year, and it bites them right in the back.
And how about the concern about returns and a lack of them in the National Football League? Percy Harvin takes the first kick of the season for the Vikings all the way back, and the special teams woes that killed the San Diego Chargers early in the season last year rear their ugly head again.
He's fought through the migraines as the extra point goes through, did Percy Harvin. He was able to practice more this training camp probably than any training camp since he's been a Viking. And boy, does he put his stamp on this season.
Takes it 2 yards deep, and he gets the outside. He stumbles here, but this is a good, strong runner. He's got great vision, and his blockers stay alive during the play. They know this is a guy that can end up anywhere on the field when he gets in the balls in his hands. Just because he starts in one direction, that doesn't mean he's going to continue in that direction. You see a great cut back there, and no one's going to catch this young man.
Holds a Viking record for kick returns for touchdowns, now at 4. And that took all but 15 seconds. Last season, he missed nearly 50 practices due to migraines and or what they called an allergic reaction to migraine medication. He also fought hip, ankle injuries throughout, and the death in the family.
And that's his only in his 3rd year now, start of his 3rd year. That's already his 4th kickoff return for a touchdown, Vikings record. There was debate during the week whether or not they were going to use this guy back there.
Yeah.
I'm saying right now they're pretty happy they put him back there.
So now it's the Chargers' turn. Richard Goodman is back deep to receive the long well kick. It's a squibber. That's Jacob Hester. Hester with a lane, and Hester out to the 30-yard line. Awasam with the tackle. So in case you just joined us, and we mean just joined us, you missed Percy Harvin's 103-yard kick return for a touchdown. And this is Phillip Rivers. Rivers and the Chargers offense, very solid last year, #1 in offense. Didn't throw many interceptions. He set a team record, breaking Dan Fouts' yardage record. But the bottom line, it wasn't good enough to get into the playoffs. Matthews hit hard. Greenway, who just signed a contract extension as well, holds it to 1 yard. Let's take a quick look at the lineups. Up front for the Chargers, Matthews, second year now, got off to kind of a slow start, injured early. They're expecting big things from him, Jimmy.
Well, to be balanced, they need to be able to run the football. And this is a guy that's a home run threat every time he touches it. And once again, like we talked about up front, having Marcus McNeil protecting the backside, the blind side of Phillip Rivers early in the season is going to be huge.
Second run again to Matthews. Matthews just beyond the line of scrimmage. Finding sledding tough. And a look at the Minnesota Vikings. They'll be without Kevin Williams. They'll go with Ayadel and Guyon, but big pressure coming in the outside from Robinson in the preseason.
Well, it's a really solid front seven. The concerns they have are in the secondary. They've got a corner in Winfield that's getting old. They've got a corner on the other side with Cedric Griffin that's coming off knees, and they've got two young safeties that are inexperienced.
And we'd like to welcome those of you watching the Detroit-Tampa game. The Lions with the win there, 27-20. That's incomplete. Abdullah in the area, intended for Gates, and that'll bring on the first punt of the day for the Chargers.
One thing the Vikings have always done a good job of is pressuring with 4. That time they decided to blitz. When you blitz a Phillip Rivers, you better make sure that you get there and you put pressure, because you're putting guys in man-to-man, and that is not the forte of the Vikings secondary. That time it worked.
Cyphers will kick it away at about the 22-yard line. Marcus Sherrills is deep. He'll take it at the 20. A man is right in his face, and he's chopped down. Great coverage there. Darryl Stuckey, the second-year man out of Kansas State. 47 yards on the punt, 1 yard, thanks to the great coverage. And Donovan McNabb didn't even get a chance to get on the field there that opening series, and that's not good. There's a look at Nate Kading, the starting place kicker for the San Diego Chargers, who had an excellent preseason. I think he got injured trying to make the tackle there on Harvin.
Well, that's not a good sign, because typically you don't have a backup kicker on your roster. So we'll look for the punter then to assume those duties.
So a hold on the return pushes the Vikings back. Our referee today, Terry McCauley, with his first call of the day. Tipped up, intercepted by Phillips. Sean Phillips went airborne, tipped it, and then got the pick.
What a great job here by Phillips. They're going to try to throw a 3-step. That was actually a called run play. They read 8 men in the box, which is difficult to run against, so they say, hey, we're going to flick it out there to Percy Harvin, see if he can get some yards. Phillips gets his hands up, knocks it down. What a great athletic play by a linebacker to make that catch.
And Viking fans are saying, what in the world? The first pass attempt for Donovan McNabb, and we get that.
56. Sit. 380. Get hot.
Tolbert is the guy they like down here in the red zone, especially within the 5. And he'll get down to about the 3. Jamarcus Sanford coming down from the safety spot with the tackle.
Ronnie, I'll go back to that last play, the great play by Phillip Daniels. And I mentioned that that was a called run play in the huddle. But if the Chargers walk an extra guy like Bob Sanders up into the line of scrimmage area and the run doesn't look like it's going to be effective, then McNabb has the ability to turn and throw a quick pass, which is just communication between him and Harbin, and that's what he did.
2nd and goal, a pickup of 3. Tolbert again. Not quite there. The Viking defense stiffening up. He picked up 2.
You know, you'll see Tolbert here down inside the 10-yard line. You'll see him in short yardage. When they're out in the field, we're going to see Matthews. When you talk about these guys, they're contrasting guys. You know, Matthews is a guy that has the ability to run up between the tackles with breakaway speed. Tolbert's a guy that's going to put his head down and try to bowl over you.
3rd and goal. Rivers with time, wide open, touchdown Chargers. Now the question is, who kicks the extra point? Nate Kading has left the field. It looks like Billy Volek. That'll be Cyphers, not Mike Cyphers, will kick it away. So the punter comes in, puts it through, and already we've got crazy. Ron Pitts, Jimmy Moore here in San Diego. And the action has been fast and furious. A 103-yard kick return for a touchdown, the 2nd longest play in Vikings history by Percy Harvin. The ensuing drive and interception, that led to a touchdown by the Chargers. This is the football you were waiting on. It's here. 11:38 to play in the first. We're tied up. It's the 11th regular season meeting between the two teams. The series locked up at 5. Norv Turner told us this week he wouldn't be afraid to take shots down deep, even though this defense gave him a cover 2 type of look, a very conservative look. But right now it's the Vikings back on offense. Peterson, and this is what the Chargers will have to deal with first and foremost. And Peterson with a nice run in the first down, but let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, when you look at the touchdown, Ronnie, what you see is the Chargers were anticipating man-to-man coverage because the ball was on the 1.5-yard line. So they bring Brian Walters down here in motion, and they're working a pick route. They get Gates up the field, they get Walters up the field, and Chad Greenway, who's got coverage on Tolbert, can't get through the mess to get his coverage to the flat. Therefore, it's an easy touchdown for the Chargers.
14 yards for Peterson. Back to Peterson. Peterson avoiding. I don't know about you, Jimmy, but looking at the film from preseason, it looks like he's avoiding people more and using that speed and quickness than he has before.
Well, you know, as you get into your career a little bit as a running back, you start looking to avoid contact rather than hit people. This is a good offensive line now. The concern for me is the left tackle, Charlie Johnson, who they got from Indianapolis. He's going to have to hold up this year for them to have success throwing the football.
2 tight ends set for the Vikings. Peterson again. They've got him hemmed in the backfield. And that's something that the Chargers talked about doing. We've got to have all the white shirts around the football. Legion, the rookie out of Illinois, is there first, a loss of 2.
This guy, Adrian Peterson, has such great vision. He can see the ball, the whole field. And what they do is they give him the ball deep in the backfield so that he can work every angle of the defense. And if you don't put up a fence and show color, then he's liable to go anywhere.
The dump down on 3rd and 9. It will be well short of the first. Antoine Barnes is there. And that'll bring on the punt team for the Vikings.
The Vikings here run what we call a little ET game. Tackle in game. Tackle up the field, in comes back under. Adrian Peterson doesn't catch it. We get pressure in the face of Donovan McNabb, and he has to run a little check down on 3rd and 9. if the Chargers can get them in 3rd and long because they stopped the run early, then they can rush for and have success in coverage.
Walters, who is hoping the heir apparent to Darren Sproles, is back deep. Cooley with the nice high kick, a floater. No place for Walters. Great coverage down the field there. That's Everson Griffin. A look at some of the greats from the past as we start this NFL kickoff weekend. It's Lance Allworth, otherwise known as Bambi. That was the true essence of the vertical passing game, wasn't it, Jimmy? Putting that ball down the field. 1st and 10 play action, screen. Gates gets a block, slips the tackle, and squeezes out for the 1st down. Well, this October, the American League's best teams will look to their brightest stars to see which one of them will be the new hero and will lead them into the Fall Classic. Legends are born in October, and on our exclusive coverage of the ALCS, it all begins October 8th, only on Fox. A pickup of 11 by Gates. Look at E.J. Henderson. Henderson playing alongside his brother, Aaron Henderson. The other linebacker spot. Draw. Matthews with a gash. Matthews across the 50. 21 yards and another first, brought down by Jamarcus Sanford.
And this is just a simple draw. And we're looking here inside. You got Rivers in the shotgun. You're going to see the offensive lineman pass set as if it's a pass play, and then a simple inside handoff to Matthews. I mentioned earlier, this is a guy that can run between the tackles, but when he gets into the open field, he's got breakaway speed. And we saw it right there, Ronnie.
Had health issues last year and ball security issues. Heard after the first week, did finish strong. They're expecting big things like that from him. They'll try to get inside, not much. Good play there by Greenway, a pickup of 2.
You know, they lost Darryl Sproles. He went free agency to the New England Patriots. So they're counting on Matthews and they're counting on Tolbert to pick up the slack. It's going to be tough to do in the passing game because Sproles had 59 catches for him last year. But what I think you're seeing here early is they're trying to attack the middle of the Minnesota Vikings defense, and right now they're having some success doing that.
Remember, that middle is without Kevin Williams. He's gone for next week as well as this week with a league suspension. They don't have big Pat Williams down in there anymore either. They pick up the blitz, check it down, and a vicious hit. Look at that, Jared Allen dropping back, a little zone drop there, Jimmy. And he comes up with a hit, a pickup of 3.
Well, that was what we call a zone dog, a rush zone, a zone blitz. It's where you're going to bring 2 second-level players, a linebacker and a safety, or 2 linebackers, and drop a defensive end. In that case, you'd say, why would you ever drop your best pass rusher, Jared Allen? Well, he's athletic in space. He can break up. He can make a tackle, and it confuses the quarterback. If you listen to the audio there, Philip Rivers identified, said, zone dog, zone dog, zone dog, but he couldn't do anything about it.
That's Philip.
Pressure. Allen again.
And that is the forte of the Minnesota Vikings defense. Getting you into a 3rd down and passing situation, rushing for and playing good, solid, sound zone coverage behind, keeping your eyes on the quarterback, collapsing the pocket, closing up the throwing lanes. Sack.
Brian Robinson is there as well. So they've got some good speed coming around the corner. Cyphers is on the punt to Sherrills. He'll try to kill it inside the 10. Sherrills with the fair catch and steps out of bounds at about the 8. 40 yards on the punt. We'll be back tied up here in San Diego.
And here's a look at Jared Allen. How about these numbers? Through his first 7 seasons, this guy is 3rd in the history of the National Football League in sacking the quarterback. And how about the names above him? Reggie White and Derek Thomas, 2 of the greatest of all time. This guy is on track, I'll say it right now, to be a Hall of Famer.
Peterson looking for the cutback and is hit hard. Right down the middle of the field, Donald Butler. First game break of the 2011 season for us. Let's go up to LA and check in with Kurt Middleton.
And the first touchdown pass of Cam Newton's career. The #1 pick in the draft. Easy pickings to Steve Smith. 77 yards on the score. That's just Newton's third pass ever. It's good for a touchdown in a 7-7 tie with Arizona. Ron and Jim.
Well, everyone expecting big things now from Cam Newton.
I like the kid. And he's got the ability to do that. He's got the legs to run.
8 men in the box. They bring up Weddle. They throw backside to Harvin. Harvin's got a little room, but it closes up fast, and you can see the pursuit from the Chargers. A pickup of 5. Butler is there first.
Oh. One of the things that you'll notice about Donovan McNabb is when he gets pressure, he has the ability to retreat in the pocket and still deliver an accurate throw. And that's what he did there. Weddle was coming off the edge clean. He retreats, he throws off his back leg, but it's still an accurate throw.
3rd and 3. Going outside, and it's caught. A marker goes down late. That's Michael Jenkins. Antoine Cason is on the coverage, but let's check the flag. And McNabb says it's against the Chargers.
Pass interference, defense number 20, penalties decline, first down.
So it went against Cason. They decline it, take the yardage and the first down.
That's a nice throw under pressure by Don McNabb there. You know, he stood in there against Weddle's blitz. He delivers it outside to Jenkins, who was in man-to-man coverage on Cason, on the money, first down.
A pickup of 12. McNabb with the Howard count. He may have gotten Gray.
Defense number 71. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, that's the veteran right there. The veteran taking advantage of the snap count and getting an easy 5. And now they're putting themselves in 1st and 5. They get a positive down here. You know, they're going to keep themselves in 3rd and manageable situations where they can predict man-to-man coverage and take advantage of some of the matchups outside. Just mastery of an offense.
Tight formation, the toss, 1st and 5. Downhill running is Peterson. But the Chargers do a nice job of keeping him in the box. That's the veteran, Takeo Spikes, brought in free agency this year. And a short year from San Francisco, a pickup of 1.
Outstanding job here by the left corner, Quentin Jammer, on the down block. This is called crack replacement. He's got to come up and take on Visanthe Shenko, cuts him down. The inside-out pursuit, Takeo Spikes can get there. Those are the things you've got to do against a guy like Adrian Peterson. You've got to put an edge up and force him back inside.
2nd and 4, play action. McNabb in trouble, and he'll go down. Gray, he tripped him up. Cleaned up by Legion.
So far, what you're seeing out of the San Diego defense is a lot of man-to-man coverage with a 5th man added into the rush. They're filling up throwing lanes on Donovan McNabb. They're not giving him room to escape. One of the things that he does great is get out of the pocket and make throws down the field, but they're putting dots on him. They're not giving him escape lanes, and it's working to their advantage right now.
There's a look at Greg Minuski, the Chargers defensive coordinator.
And they're in man-to-man again here.
Draw, Harvin. Nice play call. Harvin picks it up. Great call there by the Minnesota Vikings. Give the credit there to offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave.
Yeah, Bill's going to take. One of the things I like about Billy Musgrave is he's looking for matchups. When you've got a guy like Percy Harvin and the versatility that he has as an offensive player with the ball in his hands, you're going to put him in the backfield on occasion. They put him in the backfield there. They run a little handoff to him on 3rd and intermediate, catch the Chargers in man-to-man defense, and that's a good play for them.
Musgrave's first year as Vikings offensive coordinator, spent the last 5 years with the Atlanta Falcons working with the quarterbacks.
First charge timeout, San Diego.
First time out of the day for the Chargers. We'll step away. Winding down the first quarter, an exciting first quarter here in San Diego. We're tied up at 7 we've seen just about everything. And all in all, Jimmy, it feels like the Chargers have kept Adrian Peterson at bay.
Well, they've done a really nice job of filling up lanes, of keeping an edge, forcing him back into the slot, back into the pit of the defense, and they're tackling well.
Harvin lining up in the backfield. He just made a nice play on a first down. McNabb holding it. Now he'll take off, and he can still do this, and then some. You talked about this the other day, Jimmy. The guy still has something in the tank, and he said he worked really hard going back to the basics and fundamentals in the offseason.
Well, physically, he looks fantastic. I mean, and he's invigorated. You know, he's excited to put last year behind him. He called this a rewind offseason for him. Watch the right end here, get too far up the field. And one of the things Donovan has always been great at is escaping out of the pocket by moving up into the pocket and then laterally. And you said it, Ronnie, he's still got some gas in the tank to run the football.
23 yards worth of gas. Peterson looking for the bounce. It's not there. You saw Quentin Jammer making sure it didn't bounce. First quarter started off Percy Harvin 3 yards deep. Looked as though he was stopped here, but then he came out of the back end and took it for 6. The ensuing drive tipped up in the air by Sean Phillips, intercepted, 1-yard touchdown throw. Rivers to Tolbert. But Harvin has not only done it from the kick return area, he had the nice play there in the backfield a few plays ago. He has been a factor thus far. That's Peterson. And Jimmy, one thing you're seeing from this offense this year, you don't see a fullback per se. They're doing it with tight ends, and it's a new look for the Viking offense.
Well, it puts stress on the defense because when you come with multiple tight ends, and they had 3 in the game on that down. They had 3 tight ends, Rudolph, Desante Shanko, and Kleinsasser. As a defensive coach, you say, what are they going to give me here? What kind of formation am I going to see? Who's going to be the back? Who's going to be split out wide? You pull your hair out because you don't know what defense to call. And I really like the fact that Musgrave is being versatile and taking advantage of the matchups that he can present the defense.
That's the end of the first quarter. 7-7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. A 3rd and 3 coming up. Peterson, 7 carries, 25 yards in the first quarter. Pressure backside and the throw, and it's complete. That's Jenkins. And that's a Vikings first down. Great poise and vision by McNabb.
Yeah, he wanted to throw it out to Harvin in the flat. It wasn't there, but he kept his poise. Like you said, he reloaded in the pocket. He came back. He knew they were playing zone. He knew where Michael Jenkins was, the old Falcon guy that we drafted, and he found him in that soft spot. And that's 2 completions now on 3rd down to Michael Jenkins, a new addition along with Donovan McNabb here in the offense.
So 2 old wily vets hooking up there, a pickup of 11. Vikings just inside the red zone.
Peterson down here out wide.
Harvin end around. Just got a yard. Jimmy, you were talking about Peterson and what they've been able to do to hold him out.
Well, one of the key things when you play a great back like this is you've got to play great gap control, you've got to put up an edge, and you've got to maintain discipline.
So if I'm the blocker and the ball's here coming that way.
And I'm responsible for keeping my outside arm free, I've got to darn well keep my outside arm free, because if I dip my head in like this,
and I can get here and get a hook.
He's gone. But they're doing a nice job of putting up an edge, keeping their right arm, the correct arm free on a block, and they're having success against the run.
You've been working on the Crowder a little bit, haven't you? 2nd and 9, tripped up. Takeo Spikes jumped inside the gap there. A pickup of 3, and when you're talking 3-4 defenses, Jimmy, now you better be talking about gap control to the T.
Right, against this guy who mentioned us that he loves to run against a 3-4 defense because he sees the lanes easier.
That was surprising.
You've got to play with your shoulders square. You've got to get guys extended so you can get off blocks, and you've got to be very, very disciplined in not over-pursuing because he sees the entire field.
3rd and 6 throw, and it's incomplete. Intended for Harvin, but Kaysen came down, swatted, and broke up the play.
McNabb telegraphs this one a little bit. He keeps his eyes on Harvin the whole way. Kason gets a nice break, is able to get a hand in and break this thing up. I still believe that's a ball that Harvin's got to catch in that situation.
33 yards now for Ryan Longwell. Longwell puts it through. No flags are down. So the drive ends up in at least 3 points for the Vikings. The NFL opener here in San Diego. We've got a 3-point game. The men and women with our American forces in full effect here today in San Diego. Scoring drive, 14 plays, 77 yards. Capped off with the field goal. McNabb, efficient, 3 of 4, 28 yards. Goodman will take it at least 6 yards deep. Gets popped at the 20, falls out to the 22-yard line. 12:51 here in the second quarter, 3-point game. More NFL action next week. It starts with the Bears taking on the Saints. The Buccaneers will take on these Vikings, and the Packers take on the Carolina Panthers. We'll be in Carolina for that one. And the late game, the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. It all starts with the Built Ford Tough Box NFL pregame show starting at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Tyrone Green checks in at the right guard spot for the Chargers, and there's a nice play in the backfield. Matthews tries to get a little bit, nothing doing there. E.J. Henderson is all over it. Ron Pitts, Jim Moore, welcome you to San Diego. This kickoff opener, we've had some fireworks. Opening kickoff, Percy Harvin decided to take it 103 yards for the touch. Just to get things rolling a little bit. Other than that, it's been an efficient day for both quarterbacks. Not able to hit anything deep, and the Chargers have done a nice job against Adrian Peterson. 2nd and 11 throw. Thrown backside. Gates had to stretch for that one. As a result, couldn't get any yak yards after the catch.
You're seeing a very disciplined Minnesota defense, but you're also seeing a very patient Phillip Rivers. And that patience is only going to last so long before he takes a shot downfield on these two young safeties that the Vikings are playing.
Well, that's what North Turner talked about. He said, I'll be patient to a point, and you're wondering if that point might not come rather quickly here. 7 on the pass play. Tried to throw inside again, it's not there. And you just teed that up, Jimmy. You're throwing right at 2 of the best players on this team. And as a result, the Chargers will have to punt. E.J. Henderson is there and Greenway close by.
Well, those two guys, besides being great tacklers, and they're 2 leading tacklers on this team year after year after year, they're both very good pass defenders. And they match up well in zone coverage against a guy like Antonio Gates because they're physical, they're fast, they're athletic, they get their hands on him, and you see right there they can make a play on the football.
Cyphers will kick it away. Marcus Sherrill's back deep. Vikings came after that one a little bit. Sherrill should have a lot of room. Looking for his wall, reverses field. He's still going, he's out of the gate. Marcus Sherrills ran about 50 yards to get about 16. 39 yards on the punt. Darryl Stuckey hems him up. Vikings holding on to a 10-7 lead here in the second quarter. They'll take over with great field position. The crosser, Harvin had to fight just to get on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Eric Weddle is there, a pickup of 2.
Ronnie, what's impressed me so far about this San Francisco defense, besides the fact that they're doing a really good job against Adrian Peterson, is the way they're swarming to the football, moving in large numbers with great leverage and play entry on Percy Harvin, on Adrian Peterson, and they're limiting the yards after catch.
Peterson, what a move, and he's still going. Peterson inside the 5. Bob Sanders saved the touchdown. 46 yards. Key block there by Jim Kleinsoffer.
What great vision and what great escapability. And this guy's never down. We just talked about having to swarm to tackle this guy, and we talked about keeping leverage and keeping him inside. You saw Quentin Jammer there. Gets caught looking inside after Weddle misses the tackle. With a guy like this, you just can't do it. You've got to be patient down the field. 9
carries for 74 yards. Peterson. McNabb could have run it in. Throws it instead. Touchdown Vikings. Jenkins. So Donovan McNabb with his first touchdown as a Viking, thanks to the nice run there by Peterson.
That's got to feel good for him, huh?
Extra point by Longwell is good. So the Vikings start to add to the lead. 17-7, 3 plays, 51 yards. It took a minute 44. And then 9:44 here in the first half. And look at Adrian Peterson. He was slow to get started, but he has picked it up as you look at the scoring drive. Longwell with the kick. This is Goodman. Goodman with a nice return. A flag is down at the 20, though. Larry Dean on the tackle.
During return, holding, receiving team number 81. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Randy McMichael, the tight end.
And here's what set up the touchdown. And this is an attitude that Leslie Frazier has brought to this team, and it's a work ethic. It's staying after it. It's playing hard. This is Bernard Berrien, who's not known as a great blocker, but watch him work down the field on Quentin Jammer. He gets the key block to pin Jammer inside that springs Peterson down the sideline. You would not have seen that out of the old Minnesota Vikings, but Leslie Frazier emphasizes effort, fundamentals, discipline, playing hard, finishing the down. And right there you saw Bernard Berrien capitalize all of those things in one play.
We give some credit to Vikings wide receiver coach George Stewart for practicing that and enforcing it. Tolbert nowhere to go. He avoided Greenway, but not able to get a lot. Leslie Frazier said that last year was incredible. To go through that many things and to have his team show the resiliency they showed, he was impressed with it.
Well, he's an impressive guy, and he's got a great resume. They had to go and play 5 times away from home because the dome collapsed, right? And he kept these guys together, and there's a calmness on this football team that you just feel when you talk to these guys.
You feel it when he comes into the meeting room, and there's a first down throw. That's the first catch by a wide receiver today for the Chargers. That's Malcolm Floyd, good enough for 16 yards.
This is one of the few times you see they're playing a Tampa 2, a 2-deep zone, and there's a little what we call a dead spot there between the corner and the safeties playing half field, and Malcolm Floyd was able to find that spot, and Rivers was able to put it in there.
Vikings moving up, showing pressure. They bring the pressure, it's picked up. Check down to Tolbert. Tolbert lowering his head. And Winfield lowering his head. Now that's a big-time NFL collision right there.
And that's a big-time NFL corner coming up and hitting a big running back. And one of the things that I've always been impressed with Anton Winfield is his ability to come up and tackle, his ability to come up and take on big lead blockers. There's no quiff in him here. There's no hesitation. He goes up and he gets Tolbert.
You don't need a slide rule for this. Tolbert is 243, Winfield is 180. But you can never measure heart, and Winfield's got a lot of it. 2nd and 2. Tolbert again fighting for the first. Looks as though he got it. Let's see how they mark it. It is a first down. Aaron Henderson was there on the tackle.
one thing that surprised me, Ronnie, right now is the amount of two-deep zone that the Minnesota Vikings are playing and still being effective versus the run. That is typically a pass defense where you've got 5 guys underneath, 2 safeties deep, a 7-man front, and they're playing a lot of that, which the Chargers didn't anticipate, and they're still being effective stopping the run in it. And here it is again.
Fake the end around. The screen intended for Matthews, and it's incomplete. Well, this November, Fox Sports steps into the octagon with an epic heavyweight title fight. As the #1 ranked contender in the world, Junior Dos Santos squares off with undefeated world champion Cain Velasquez in the must-see live martial arts event you can only catch right here on Fox. Dos Santos, Velasquez for the UFC Heavyweight Championship out of the world. That's live Saturday, November 12th on Fox.
Track him.
Movement. Fred Evans pushed over Nick Hardwick, the center.
False start, illegal snap. Offense number 61. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Pushed him over because I guess he moved.
Yeah, the Chargers are a little out of sync right now. I think they're caught off balance by what the Vikings are doing defensively. They didn't come into this game expecting to see this much two-deep zone coverage. We'll go back and talk about that in a minute. They were expecting more vanilla coverage, more man-to-man on the outside, and they're not getting that. And I think it's got them a little bit out of sync.
Stay with him.
2nd and long, Matthews in space, and he'll run. Matthews inside the Vikings 45-yard line. Tyrell Johnson trips him up. A pickup of 25.
This is one of the rare times the Vikings have been in man-to-man coverage, and you knew it from the start because Greenway was out on Tolbert, and so Rivers knew right away that he had an advantage to his matchup because he had Philip Daniels trying to cover his running back Ryan Masters. That's not a very good matchup for the Vikings.
Looking deep. He's got a man. And he can't get it to Vincent Jackson. Jackson had at least 2 steps on Cedric Griffin.
We call this a Dino route. He's going to bring it up the field, a little bend to the outside, and then he slows down coming out of his break. Vincent Jackson didn't think he was going to get the ball. Had he come out of his little weave to the outside full speed, we're talking a touchdown there. I don't understand that.
Griffin
coming with Rivers.
Excuse me, Jimmy. Griffin coming off his 2nd knee injury. Torn ACL in the offseason. Didn't look to be at 100% on that play. Outside, there's contact and a flag. They go to Jackson on the backside. This time they pick on Chris Cook.
Defense number 31. Automatic 1st down.
This is a tough call for me because I think when the defender has established body position and the receiver runs into him, it's happening. Well, I'm wrong. Ronnie, I'm going to say it. I'm wrong. He put his hands up and he chucked him down the field. I got ahead of myself there. I'm sorry about that. But obvious offense or obvious defensive passing defense.
But Cook, like Griffin, struggling with injuries, torn cartilage in each knee. He's trying to recover from that. Tolbert looking downhill, avoids one man. Boy, Winfield coming in like a strong safety or linebacker really forces the 1-yard gain.
Winfield playing on the slot here, and they're bringing him on a blitz. And I'll tell you what, this guy can do a lot of things really well. Very good zone player, very good tackler. One of the things that you don't see a lot, or you don't talk about a lot, is his ability to blitz and make plays in the backfield, whether it's versus a pass or in that case versus a run. Excellent play by Antoine Winfield.
Brings back memories of the game he had last year late in the season at Philadelphia. Making huge plays, 2nd and 9. Gates will be about 3 yards shy of the first. Winfield on the tackle. Pickup of 6.
Well, this drive for the Minnesota Vikings defense has been all about bringing pressure, bringing extra guys on Phillip Rivers and not letting him get comfortable in the pocket.
Hold it. Stay loaded.
Rivers throws and he's got Gates. And that would be enough for a first. Cook on the coverage. Jimmy, I heard Rivers say loaded, probably meaning keep the protection solid inside for the blitz.
Exactly. That's a loaded call. He wants to load up the protection, maximize protection. Philip Rivers is not known as a guy that is mobile. But what he can do is slip and slide his way around in the pocket, not necessarily run with it, but find those openings by that time to get a guy like Gates the ball like he did there.
26. 56 R.
Incomplete. Intended for Gates. Abdul was in the area. Henderson is there as well.
Outstanding job by Henderson running the middle of the field and delivering the blow there.
Yeah, that's Henderson, boy, coming across.
You know, there's not a lot this guy can't do. You see him step up and make tackles. You see him play man-to-man there. You see him playing the deep part of the zone and making a play on one of the best tight ends in the game. That's why he's a Pro Bowler.
Second down and 10. Oh, and a mental error. Looked like Malcolm Floyd took off early.
Start. Offense number 80. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, that's a Friday practice deal there, huh?
That's a lack of concentration. This bothers me. You know, a receiver, he's always got to do is look in at the ball.
I knew it would. That's
get off on the snap. I mean, those kind of mental errors at this level with a player of his caliber and his experience, they're inexcusable. They should not happen. Now, I can understand it's the first game of the season and there's some kinks to work out, but the snap count should not be one of those kinks that you have to work out.
52, Gacy. 52. Set. 56. 380.
Swing pass. Colbert. Purple shirts everywhere. Robinson led the charge, and then his buddies followed up. A loss of 5. Great play.
Really nice play by Robinson. But watch the backside pressure here out of Winfield. We talked about him as a blitzer. Here he's going to come under Jared Allen on the blitz and put the pressure on Rivers, and that forces him to get rid of the ball right now out to Tolbert in the flat, and then very good pursuit. And besides blitzing, what does Winfield do? He gets in on the tackle.
Third and long.
Monday. 56.
Incomplete. Griffin all over it. No markers are down. Intended for Malcolm Floyd. Now the Chargers have an issue because, remember, they lost their field goal kicker, Nate Kading, to an injury. So you're talking fourth down.
This is not a fun situation for Norv Turner to be in here. They need these points. These points are going to be valuable down the stretch in a close game like this.
Man-to-man coverage. That one's up for grabs. Drop. Probably better because they'll take the ball further up the field. Maybe intended for Gates. The Boo Birds come out here in San Diego.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Ron. This is a good drop. And once again, I said it earlier in the drive, this drive was about not allowing Philip Rivers to get comfortable, and here comes pressure. Abdullah up the middle, Greenway up the middle, a lot of guys in the quarterback's face, forces him to just loft one deep. And Ron, you said, hey, rather have him drop that one, start the ball on the 25, than catch it, touchback, start on the 20. So that's a good drop right there.
But this is the problem for the San Diego Chargers. This has been their problem. The slow starts, 14 plays, no points. And Gerhardt, a little changeup. Toby Gerhardt, the phenom from Stanford, he gets a little run.
You bring a guy like Gerhardt in here in the second quarter with a little under 3 minutes left as a changeup. You know, AP's been pounding them inside. He's been hitting them outside. He's been hitting them with the long runs. Now you bring the big, physical, downhill runner, Toby Gerhardt, the phenom, as you said, from Stanford, and he just pounds it right up the middle.
So Gerhardt will stay in. He'll get it again. Obviously, Bill Musgrave comfortable at this point, 17-7, about to go in here at the half. Content with grinding down that clock a little bit. That's
I think when they get to the 2-minute, I think we'll see them shift gears depending on their field position. Right now, they do not want to let Phillip Rivers get back out on the football field. And that is strategy that you talk about as a staff on Friday and Saturday.
Vikings with 121 rush yards to the Chargers 35. Rushing can tell the story. 2-minute warning. Three timeouts left for the Minnesota Vikings. We are under the 2-minute warning. The Vikings got on the board first. 103-yard kickoff return by Harbin. They have been efficient ever since. Adrian Peterson got it going, running the football. And that has been the key. Pressure and a throwdown intended for Rudolph. But Travis LeBoy came off the corner. Well, don't forget the Visa halftime report is coming your way in about a minute 56 seconds. Scores, highlights, plus the talk about Peyton Manning. They lose today without him. What will this do to the rest of their season? That plus all the up to the second stats. Visa halftime report coming up. 3rd and 6. Harbin hit hard at about the 45-yard line. Kaysen, a pickup of 4. A timeout is called. San Diego calls a timeout.
Second timeout, San Diego.
Ron Pitts, along with Jimmy Moore, and you talk about this game, fireworks early, things right out of the box, and it's what we would expect. It's what we hoped in the opening game of the season.
Well, yeah, we didn't have our headsets on, and Harbin in the end zone, okay? And then the Chargers recover a little bit, but the Vikings have really controlled this game both offensively with the way they pressured Rivers, and defensive and offensively with the way they've been able to run the football. This is ball. This is fun stuff.
This is what you tuned in for. So the Chargers hold 4th and 2. They'll punt it away. The Vikings will. That'll be Walters. Walters with no place to go. Frampton on the coverage. It's the season's most anticipated new series, The X Factor. And now it's your chance to see the competition unfold when Fox presents an exclusive 8-minute preview. See the amazing talent and hear their incredible stories. It's all coming up after the games here on Fox. Boy, there's been some X Factors here today.
Well, I'm just so impressed with the way the Vikings have played as a football team together in all 3 phases. It's a great reflection of what Leslie Frazier is to this organization and why they hired him to be their full-time head coach.
Screen, Tolbert. Tolbert crashes across the 25-yard line. Chargers with 1 timeout left.
Don't see a real sense of urgency here with the San Diego Chargers getting up to the line of scrimmage and getting another playoff. And they need to get into field position to score, not kick a field goal, because they don't have a field goal kicker right now.
Walters on the crosser. He should get out of bounds and does. Driven out by Griffin.
Risky play, dumping it over the middle in this situation with only 1 timeout, but heads up play by Walters, getting himself out of bounds.
Remember, Cyphers now is their kicker. And I don't just mean for punts, I mean for field goals as well. Nate Kading, their kicker, injured in the opening kickoff trying to tackle Percy Harbin. checks it off. That's McMichael. Randy McMichael will be about 2 yards shy with the clock moving.
They need to get up and get another play off here quickly.
All right, now as a former coach, Jimmy, what's your thinking here now if you're Norv Turner? You've got one in your pocket and 40 seconds left. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Well,
first and foremost.
yeah, as long as Abdullah didn't catch it, you're okay. You're trying to get yourself, if you've got confidence in Seifried to kick a field goal, which, you know, maybe he does, okay, then you're trying to work your way into field goal range and get into the locker room at 10-7. One thing that wouldn't surprise me is to see them take a shot down the field here. If they can convert here on third down, Norv is notorious for liking to take a shot around midfield.
Stay with him, Neil.
Throws it outside for the easy conversion and the get out of bounds to stop the clock. That's Walters again. Griffin on the coverage.
You know, people say, why are the Vikings playing a prevent defense? They're not playing a prevent defense. They're still rushing forward. They're playing zone, but they're content to give up some underneath things. Now, they'd prefer that the guys are not allowed, the receivers are not allowed to get out of bounds and stop the clock, but they're content to give up some things underneath because they're aware of the kicking situations that the Chargers are facing right now.
Evans and Awasam check in on the D-line for the Vikings. They turn inside. That's Jackson.
Now you want to call a timeout.
And Jimmy Moore, you're right on the mark. They call their final timeout with the first down completion.
There's a little mix-up in the rush inside. Rivers had a chance to step up into the pocket, and this guy, when given time, because of his height, because of his arm strength and his accuracy, he can make that throw and pick apart a zone. And I know this, he is extremely excited about having that man back to throw to Vincent Jackson, because this is a big target, a physical target, a guy he's got a lot of confidence in throwing it up high to, like he did there. He can go up and catch it in traffic.
His first catch of the day.
They've got to be getting the ball to the outside now or into the end zone. They don't have time to check it down. They've got no timeouts left. They're blitzing. Here comes a shot out here to Malcolm Floyd.
It's man-to-man coverage. And Floyd doesn't get on the other side of Cook. Cook, a nice job of pinning him to the sidelines. He used his help.
Outstanding job on the outside here. Does a great job with his hands. Really a nice cutoff angle. And the reason they're not calling that PI is because he got his shoulder in front and he looked back for the football. So he was playing the football as he was initiating contact with Floyd there.
So the Vikings bringing the pressure, forcing man-to-man.
56.
A flag goes down at the 9-yard line, and they could get illegal contact.
Fire the pass, illegal contact, defense number 31. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And it is going against Cook, intended for Floyd.
Well, they came with a blitz there again. And if you're a defensive back, if you're a corner in coverage and a blitz is called, then you're taught to take the first move and make a hard break on the first move. And Cook was just left in coverage a little bit long there, and he put his hands on him. He rode him too far down inside. They put some pressure on Rivers, and they're affecting the quarterback right now with their pressure.
10 seconds left. Hit as he threw it, and it's picked off. Brian Robinson came around the corner and got a hand on it. This guy has made plays all day, and Winfield with the big interception.
You know, you're not kidding, Ronnie. When we watched film on Friday, You know, we were anxious to watch Jared Allen, but the guy that kept jumping out to us was the left end, Robinson. We said, who's this guy with the ponytail that keeps making plays in the backfield? Remember what he did to Jason Witten? He took him and he ragdolled him. He gets the edge there, and this is classic Minnesota Vikings defense. Rush with 4, play zone, put some heat on the passer. They're going to go in at halftime up 17-7.
Robinson, the 5th-year man out of Texas, a 4th-round pick back in 07. He has just jumped on the scene here and has been the perfect complement for Allen. That's the end of the first half. The Vikings up 17-7. The Visa halftime report coming your way. Don't forget to follow your favorite NFL team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. And welcome to the booth, everybody. Ron Pitts, Jim Mora, 17-7 Vikings with an outstanding showing, especially on defense. They are pressuring Phillip Rivers.
Well, they're doing a great job of getting to him multiple ways. They're getting to him with a 4-man rush. They'll add a 5th rusher on occasion. They've added a 6th rusher. I'd even seen them add a 7th rusher in blitz, which is rare when you're talking about the Vikings. But they're not allowing Phillip Rivers to get comfortable in the pocket. They're keeping him off balance both with pressure and with the coverage looks, and it's been really effective. If they're not knocking him down, they're around him, they're hitting him, they're down around his legs, they're up around his body. He feels the pressure, and he's locking on receivers a little bit and leading the defenders into the throw. But he is a frustrated young man right now. He went in the locker room. Let's hope he got himself under control. He can come back and get a little rhythm going. But I'm sure, you know, he's the determined guy. He's a competitor. He'll have a good second half.
And the guy that impresses me the most for the Vikings, there's several, but Brian Robinson has just been on fire. I mean, he is a perfect complement to Allen on the other side. Just flip the number upside down, I guess that's the thinking. But he is coming around the corner, and Jeremy Clary is having trouble blocking it.
Well, when you've got a guy like Robinson working opposite Allen, who's one of the great sackers in the history of the National Football League, you can't turn your protection to Allen all the time and leave your right tackle isolated, because Robinson makes you pay, and he's doing that right now. We saw it on film when we prepared for this game, and now we're seeing it in real life. You know, you watched it in preseason, you said, is this real? You know, it's preseason. Is this really who this guy is? And so far, he's shown me, Ronnie, that he is a legitimate outside pass rush threat for these guys.
Let's go down to the 3rd member of our crew standing by on the sidelines, Drea Avent. Drea.
Thanks, guys. Well, I spoke to Leslie Frazier, and he said he's happy with the way his team is playing in all 3 phases of the game, but they have to remember this is a 4-quarter game. They have to stay the course, and I also asked him about the pressure on Phillip Rivers. He says, I absolutely love it. So as far as Coach Turner is concerned, he said that is going to be the key for us. We have to be more balanced because they are pressuring Phillip, and that is going to be the key to us possibly coming back and winning this game. And we can't give up big plays in the kicking game, guys.
Well, you know, that's the story around here, what seems like for ages. Not only was it the big kick return for a touchdown by Harvin, penalties, they had issues there, a lot of things. Short kick. That'll be squeezed out to about the 30-yard line. That's Corey Sperry, the backup tight end.
I think one of the things that the San Diego Chargers need to do right now is establish a run game.
And there is an area where they have struggled. You can see the discrepancy, 125 to 35. And granted, for a while they had AP in check, but he got loose, got going, and that number crept up. Colbert will start off in the backfield. Colbert puts his head down for a couple.
Now that's only a 2.5 to 3 yard gain, but what I'd like to see is I'd like to see him come back right now again and pound it up the middle. They've got to establish a run game if they want to take a little bit of heat off of Rivers and pull the reins back on the Vikings' ability to pressure on defense.
Even if it is with Tolbert, you know, 240-some pound back.
Pound him.
Just you say pound.
Pound him. Pound him up in there. Hit him again and again and again, and then drop back and throw it down the field.
The coach has spoken, 2nd and 6. Check down. Tolbert. Tolbert lowers his head, and that would be just fine for Henderson.
And I'm okay with that. All right, they still got it to him in the middle of the field. They just didn't hand it to him. They threw it to him. But I like that guy carrying the ball right now. You know, they're bringing in Matthews, so a little change up, but they've got to establish a run game. You know, they went to the pass on 2nd down. It worked, but we still cannot get away from the run if we're Norv Turner and this offensive staff.
10 yards and a 1st down. Ball nearing midfield. Vikings stay in their cover 2. They dump it to Matthews. Matthews with a nice avoid, a nice stiff arm, and he's still going. Pushed out of bounds at about the 15-yard line.
Well, great compliment to Tolbert right there, Matthews. His elusiveness, his speed in the open field. That's why you keep 2 backs like this. You've got the big pounder inside, Tolbert, the guy that's going to run it between the tackles. And then you've got the elusive guy in Matthews who can make you miss, who can get down the field with speed. And he can still run between the tackles. That's, what, 2 passes out of the first 3 plays? Obviously, Norv doesn't agree with me, does he, about running the football. And it looks like he's right now because they're on the 16-yard line.
37 yards on the carry. They'll go back to the ground. Tolbert going nowhere. Aaron Henderson, brother of E.J. Henderson, is all over it. And now, Jimmy, this is the part of the year, or part of the season, I should say, in this game where everybody's got to play the full game.
No.
It's not like preseason now, and most of these guys haven't gone the full game, so now you're going to see the conditioning factor step in, which could be even bigger with what went on in the offseason without all the OTAs.
I think that's a great point. And we were down on the field before the game. It's hot, and it's also humid. And this is the first time that these guys have stretched themselves into the 3rd quarter. Conditioning will definitely be a factor here throughout the rest of the game.
Second and 8 throw. Rivers is in trouble, and he'll go down. So the pressure continues. Henderson on the backside now, rushing from the linebacker spot. He'll make the play.
He was looking for Vincent Jackson running through the end zone there. And the Vikings did an excellent job in coverage of being disciplined, staying home, and passing him off as he ran his route. There he runs through his zone. Then we pick him up with 1 safety. And then there's another safety waiting on the other side. And then Winfield's waiting for him on the backside. And then the rush gets there.
52.
Third down throw. Tolbert runs a man over. I don't know that he got it. Let's see where they mark it. That's going to be the key. From that mark there, it looks like he has the 1st down.
That right there is the type of play that can make a huge difference in the mental attitude of your team and in the crowd, as we hear right now. Because that's a guy that says, you know what, I'm going to do it by myself with second effort. And you watch him here, and he catches a little angle route to the inside, and he turns it up the field. He says, you know what, I'm getting that 1st down. Greenway, you try to tackle me. Cook, you try to tackle me. I'm going to bull you over. I'm going to get the 1st down. Jump on my back. Let's go.
Boy, your man out of Coastal Carolina saying, let's go. And here he is again, Tolbert with the touchdown. Mike Tolbert just running through people, and he runs for 7 and a touch.
Well, that's the drive that the San Diego Chargers needed right there, to come out after halftime, down 17 to 7, and put a nice drive together, balanced drive. Like I said, that 3rd down play with Tolbert, you don't get that 4th down or that touchdown right there unless he puts his head down on 3rd down and gets the 1st.
Weddle with the hold, ciphers the punter with the extra point, and the Chargers do what they have to do. They come back out after a sluggish first half, and they answer and cut the lead to 3. A look there at The late Don Coryell, one of the architects of the vertical passing game, learned it under Sid Gilman.
I worked for him. 1985, that's where I started my career, with Don Coryell.
Booker goes backward. Andrew Gatchkar along with Hester on the tackle. If you want to get low, watch this man, Mike Tolbert, low and trucking. The big difference here is the score on the scoreboard. We look at McNabb's numbers, nothing impressive there, but they're able to get it going special teams wise. Harbin with the 103-yard return to start the game. That's Peterson for 2. Leslie Frazier, 3-3 last year as interim head coach, taking over for Brad Childress. Had the big win versus Philadelphia, 24-14, and I think around that time people started to believe in what he was preaching, believe in what he was saying. And thus far today, they played like it. Trying to hold on to a 3-point lead. There's a throw, and it's incomplete. Intended for Prashante Shenko.
You know, Donovan McNabb has had good tight ends his whole career. And Shenko's a good player, but he has not played in the preseason coming off the injury. And so there's going to be a little adjustment period between those two. And you saw it right there. You know, he likes him as a receiver. He wants to get him the ball down the field. But they've still got to build that chemistry amongst the two of them. And that's going to take some time.
And the San Diego crowd is back in the game. Pressure. McNabb, what a move. McNabb up, out, first down. He's still got the wheels.
I love to watch this guy play football because he's so smart in the pocket and then getting out of the pocket. And one of the reasons that he's one of the best, the lowest percentage interception guys in the history of the league is that he makes good decisions with the ball in his hand. He's not going to force things. And he still, as you saw there, got the athletic ability to make it happen with his legs. That's the second time that he scrambled for a first down now. And this is not a young man, okay? This isn't Cam Newton in Carolina, fresh out of college.
34 years old, McNabb. And this is definitely a young man that runs hard, Peterson. He'll get a hard 4 after the pickup of 10 by McNabb. Leads it on the tackle.
And we talked about McNabb out of the pocket. Look at these numbers since 2006. When he's out of the pocket, that's either he's scrambling or design, break, contain play. 16 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. That's a young man, or not a young man anymore. That's a guy that knows what to do with the football when the play breaks down.
Looking for Harbin, the quick one. Harbin can't hold on, a little high.
Good pressure off the edge with Phillips there. You know, and this is a part of Donovan's game that he's always been good at. You know, retreating, the play action, dumping it to the guy in the flat. But this was a tough one now. There's a guy right in his face right now, and he just was a little inaccurate there.
Third and 6. Incomplete. Intended for Barry and Kaysen on the coverage.
Good pressure there by the front of the San Diego Chargers. Good coverage down the field. He needs to be able to, Donovan needs to be able to set his feet, step up and throw that ball, and he really didn't get a chance to do so on that play.
So a good showing by the Chargers defense will force Chris Cluey onto the field. Brian Walters is back deep. They tried to go after that one. A good kick by Cluey. Walters all the way back to the 10. He's got a lane. And that lane closed up quickly. Maybe out to the 23-yard line. 53 yards on the punt. Brought down by Larry Dean. 3-point game here in San Diego. Ron Pitts, Jimmy Mora here in San Diego, 8:17 in the third. It's been a wild game from the get-go. Now it's a three-point game. Vikings holding on. Chargers getting a little life. Matthews, no place to go outside. He went backwards. Your favorite, Antoine Winfield, is all over it. Well, the NFL is holding a special auction to benefit 9/11 charities. Autographed game-worn jerseys from today's games, along with today's game ball and other unique NFL items, will be auctioned to raise money for Tuesday's Children and My Good Deed. Visit NFL./auction today to bid on items.
Seems like the NFL is always there when there's a great cause in need.
Absolutely. Second and long throw. That's Floyd, and Floyd will reach across for the first down. Working on Chris Cook. Norv Turner, 99 regular season victories, but winless against the Minnesota Vikings. And it all goes back to the slow starts. Today was another example with the kick return.
56.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball,
56.
I would say all smiles to a point. They've been able to come out, establish, and really dominate the game. Good vision to dump off McMichael. McMichael hit hard. Winfield all over it. A Carolina-Arizona update. Let's go up to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee.
Cam Newton's debut has been pretty good so far. 2 touchdown passes. That is until this interception thrown to Darrell Washington. Arizona with the return. That sets up a Kevin Cobb to Jeff King touchdown of 48 yards. It's all even at 14. That one in the third quarter. Ron and Jim.
All right, Kurt.
56.
The rookie learning the flip side of throwing the ball in the NFL. Second and 9. Safety pressure from way back. Trying to get the man-to-man coverage matchup, and they don't get it. That was Gates on Winfield.
This Winfield, you know, we've talked about him a lot, but boy, what can't he do? You see him support the run. You see him blitz off the edge and pressure the passer. You see him in coverage on one of the great tight ends who he's given up 5 or 6 inches to. The guy is just an outstanding player.
Fred Puggage there, the defensive coordinator, doing a pretty good job of dialing up the right calls at the right time, especially the pressure packages. Vikings showing pressure again and bringing it. More man holding the ball, and it's a completion. Can't hold it that much longer than that. That's Antonio Gates, and he'll move the chains.
It looks like Rivers is feeling a little bit more comfortable in the pocket. You watch him here, and there's pressure all around him, but he's patient. He keeps his eyes up the field, and he just slides himself up in the pocket enough to buy time for the receiver to get open down the field. Once again, late in the down, when he needs to find somebody, it's going to be Antonio Gates over the middle.
Pick up a 10 on the play. Matthews head down straight ahead.
You mentioned Fred Puggage. We took a look at him a minute ago. You know, this is a guy that's been with Leslie Frazier for 5 years now. They've worked together for 5 years, and he's running the defense. Now, he's running the defense that Leslie wants to run, and I'll tell you, I think he's done a tremendous job up to this point today of mixing things up on Phillip Rivers and not allowing him clean looks in the secondary.
That's right.
And putting good pressure on him with 4, 5, and 6 guys.
The crosser is there. Jackson with a spin move and out of bounds close to the 40-yard line. He got 10 and a first.
Rivers appears very patient right now. He did take another shot there, but he's patient. He's hanging in the pocket. And it's a cliche, but he's taking what the defense gives him, but he's also getting the ball in the weapons that he has, their hands. He's got Gates. He's got Matthews. He's got Vincent Jackson. He's getting those guys the ball early and letting them run with it.
That one well behind Floyd. Jimmy, did it surprise you in our meeting the other day when Rivers told us that he felt like this offense is, in terms of timing, was better prepared now than they've ever been, in spite of not being able to get together like they usually do in the offseason with workouts?
Well, a little bit, but the fact of the matter is these guys have played together a lot, and having Vincent Jackson back early, not holding out, and getting 3 or 4 weeks of training camp with him in the preseason games, I can see where he'd feel that way. Now, watching him today, I don't know that that's necessarily the case.
Go.
Empty backfield set throw and another conversion. McMichael.
Once again, pressure. Once again, man-to-man coverage. Once again, Philip Rivers just doing enough with his feet in the pocket to slip and slide, step up, and find the receiver late in the down. And once again, a tight end over the middle, Ronnie. You're seeing a lot of that. Play develops. He doesn't have the shot downfield, has the confidence to come back to Gates, to come back to McMichael over the middle of the ball and convert the first downs.
If you're Puggich, when do you start dialing the pressure back up again?
Well, he's trying to. They're just beating it right now. Here comes some now.
Boy, it almost looked like he decided to pull it down and throw short, then deep. Looked like he was going to the corner. Tried to go to Hester, and couldn't make it work.
Watch this. This is, once again, we talked earlier in the broadcast about a rush zone where you're bringing guys from the second level and dropping Jared Allen. And once again, he does a nice job just showing you what kind of athlete he is. He's backpedaling. Looked like a cornerback there. He's supposed to be going forward. He says, what do you got me doing going backwards for? But he does a nice job of it.
56.
The draw to Matthews. Matthews inside the 25-yard line. He'll be about 2 or 3 yards shy.
Good mix here by Knorr of run and pass. Play action. Right there we got a little draw play. They're getting in sync, Ronnie. They're getting in sync. They didn't have any sync early. They weren't rhythmed up early in the game. The 11th play of the drive, they got a little rhythm going right now. And they got the Vikings on their heels a little bit defensively.
Right there, Lucy. We got to Lucy, Philip.
Intercepted. Jared Allen. He dropped enough times to finally drop right in the path of the football. And I asked you a few minutes ago, Jimmy, what might Fred Puggich draw differently? I guess kind of the same thing, but that's a nice play by Jared Allen. The 5th career interception for Jared Allen. Probably couldn't have come at a better time. Back to the ground game and Peterson.
Watch this play by Jared Allen. We all know he's a great pass rusher, but the athleticism to be able to come off his rush, get in man coverage on a guy like Matthews, and then turn, locate the ball, and catch it clean with his hands. The guy looks like a cornerback right there. And then Rivers, how about his reaction? Frustration. He says, hey, I got a defensive lineman on a running back, and I throw an interception? Are you kidding me?
5 yards in the carry by Peterson. Another lane. That will be the first down and then some. So Peterson starting to get it going again. Sean Phillips rounds him up, but he got 7.
I think it's really important here, Ron, that the Minnesota Vikings continue to run the football, continue to take time off the clock, because Philip Rivers is heating up a little bit. Now, I know he just threw an interception, okay, but he's heating up a little bit. He's getting his rhythm. They got to keep him sitting down there on the bench.
A little wildcat action here. That's what they call their blazer package. That's Joe Webb in the backfield. He takes a direct snap. Chargers were all over it. Let's go up to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee.
Well, rookie Cam Newton's done everything today. 2 touchdown passes, this touchdown run. He's also thrown an interception and got penalized on this play for excessive celebration. Hey, he's just a typical day for the first pick in the draft, right? 21-14, Carolina leads it in Arizona. Ron and Jim.
So the Panthers hanging in there.
They're back in what they call their blazer package here, Ronnie.
The give to Harvin. Not much for Harvin. Spikes is there.
Yeah, at two you had a no gain play, then you had a two-yard gain play. But you've got Percy Harvin, Adrian Peterson, and Joe Webb in the backfield. Those are three.
That's a lot of
threat right there. And they call that their blazer package. Why? Because UAB, the Blazers.
University of Alabama. Webb, the 6th-round pick last year from there. Got some time in with the injuries to Brett Favre. But this is Donovan McNabb back in the game. McNabb just throws it down. Antoine Barnes on the pressure. And that is the end of the third quarter. The score, the Vikings 17, the Chargers 14. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a break from your local Fox station. Ron Pitts, Jimmy Moore, we start the fourth quarter here in San Diego. A 3-point game, the Vikings holding on. Kluwe to punt it away. He'll angle it. It stays down the center of the field. Taken inside the 10. This is Walters. And Walters taken down. That's going to be a horse collar. "51 yards on the punt." Looked like Hussein Abdullah might have.
Unnecessary roughness. Horse collar tackle. Kicking team number 37. 15-yard penalty. First down, timeout.
Yeah, they mark it on Eric Frampton for the horse collar. A look at the offensive leaders for the Chargers, but the last 4 drives for the Chargers, 253 yards and only 7 points. The outlet throw to Tolbert. Tolbert tried to juke, then stumbled. Got a couple. Call it 5.
Well, let's go back and look at Jared Allen's interception. Chargers putting a drive together. Big-time player, makes a key play. Interception. Look at Phillip Rivers. And then look at Fred Puggett and Jared Allen. They talked about that all week. They said, hey, we're going to blitz off the left. You're going to drop off the right, intercept it. And he said, yeah. And then it happens.
Well, Allen not feeling real good right now. Looks like it might be a cramp. Second and 5 give to Tolbert. Tolbert coming downhill. And he's across the 50-yard line for a first down. Tyrell Johnson on the tackle.
I'm going to throw a name out at you here.
Okay.
Marion Butts. You remember old number 35 for the San Diego Chargers? When I was a kid working there, Marion Butts. I think Tolbert's got a little Marion Butts in him. Compact, big thighs, runs low to the ground, runs hard, runs people over, can catch the ball out of the backfield. I bet not many people listening know about Marion Butts.
Tolbert led the team in rushing last year with the injuries to the rookie Matthews. First and 10 throw, a pitch and catch. That's Gates. Gates out on the corner all alone. Well, next weekend on the FX Saturday College Game of the Week, Charles Davis and Gus Johnson bring you all the action as the Syracuse Orange take on Matt Barkley and Southern Cal. The FX Saturday College Football Game of the Week presented by Russell Athletic in high definition next weekend only on FX. Check local listings for the channel and start time in your area. Jared Allen checks back in, so apparently is okay. 15 yards on that pass play to Gates. Fake the end around, hit hard in the backfield is Matthews. Chad Greenway. 149 tackles, led the team last year. Just signed a 5-year, $40 million extension, and he will most likely be a Viking for life. That's a loss of 1.
He's a really versatile player. You know, you ask, why would you pay an outside linebacker that much money? Well, this guy does it all. Besides being a great tackler, he can cover man-to-man, he can blitz, he can play zone coverage, and he's a great leader and a great worker and a guy you want representing your organization.
Doesn't have to come off the field in 3rd down. 2nd and 11. High throw, but it's caught by Floyd. Update time up to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee.
First NFL game for first-round pick of the Redskins. Ryan Kerrigan, defensive end, goes up, swats away Eli Manning's pass, catches it, and scores a touchdown. 9 yards on the score, making it 21-14. Washington over the Giants. Ron and Jim.
All right, big game back east. Looking at Wes Grossman there. Big numbers on the day thus far for Grossman. Tolbert looking cutback. It's not there. Great job of staying home by the Vikings defense. Henderson wraps him up.
The Chargers today have been very, very good until they get inside the 25, and then they've had their struggles. They've had 3 drives inside the 25 that resulted in 0 points, and you look at that, 253 total yards, but only 7 points offensively. They've got to figure out a way here now, critical 4th quarter drive, to get not a field goal, but points in the form of a touchdown on the board.
And remember, they've lost their field goal kicker, Nate Kading, to a 1st quarter injury. Screen, it develops late, and it doesn't develop at all after Greenway comes up and hammers it.
And that's one of the reasons you pay a guy like Greenway. You know, you talked about his versatility. The guy's all over the field. He's doing everything. He can do everything. He's fun to watch play. For a guy that loves defense, you love watching a guy like Greenway play. He's a blue-collar guy from South Dakota, a farmer. You know, he probably still drives a F-150 pickup around. He loves ball.
We would prefer that he does.
Yeah.
A loss of 2 on the play. 3rd and 13. Going to the end zone, and it's covered perfectly. Cook is all over Floyd. The Vikings DBs kind of got tired this week of hearing about how powerful, how fast, and how exciting the Charger offense was. They were looking forward to this challenge.
Nice job here by Chris Cook of not biting on the double move. The double move, the little stop and then go. They're trying to get him to bite on that first stop and get it in behind him, and he just plays it really well. Had his eyes in the backfield, saw Rivers, saw what was developing, pinned the receiver to the boundary, and the punter's kicking.
Cyphers 40 yards out. No fake. It's low, but he hammered it through. And that is his first career field goal. He got an extension earlier in the year, too. And we've got a hot one for you here in San Diego. We are tied up at 17. It started with the man who was back deep to receive the kick, Percy Harvin. He took one back 103 yards. Hasn't been back there since until now. And they don't kick to him. Taken short there by Griffin. Griffin was calling out blocking schemes. I think Leslie Frazier would have preferred that he just get on the ground.
Well, the Chargers lost their kicker, Nate Kading, on the first play of the game. So what do they do at halftime? They go into the stands, grab some guys, and they say, hey, let's audition some kickers. Well, this guy didn't work out quite well. So they go back to Cyphries, their punter, and he puts it right down the middle. Now his kickoff, not so good, but they'll take that 3 out of their punter anytime, and that's why he got $20 million, Ronnie.
That's right, the franchise's all-time leading punter. Showing why he's worth it. 5 years, $21 million. That's Peterson. Donald Butler on the tackle.
You know, I said this to you during the break, Ronnie. I think it's time that the Minnesota Vikings open up their offense a little bit and start throwing the football. They're not having a lot of success right now running the ball. I know they want to keep it close, but they need to open it up a little bit.
Well, it's close. 9:30 and counting. Tied up at 17. Peterson trips across the line of scrimmage. Sean Phillips is there.
Look, I'm all for giving Adrian Peterson the ball. I mean, he's the best player on the field, in my opinion. But you're allowing right now the San Diego Chargers to put 8 guys up at the line of scrimmage, fill all the gaps, and now you're in a critical 3rd and 3. Now, if they convert here and they can keep the drive alive, then maybe you go back and run it a little bit. But they need to open up a little bit.
Peterson over the 100-yard mark.
Here comes pressure.
Markers down, balls up, picked off, but the play is dead.
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And an injured Charger on the play. Can't make out the number just yet. Not sure who the player is. So we'll check on him when we come back. 8:40 to play. Tied at 17. Luis Castillo was the injured Charger, able to walk off the field with a little assistance. The penalty on Lodeholt. Going deep, there's your shot, Jimmy. And it's incomplete. The Vikings sideline screaming for a flag, but they won't get it. Intended for Berrien, casing all over it. And that'll bring on the punt team.
Good pressure by Sean Phillips on the bull rush. Gets a little piece of McNabb. Can't get all of it into it that he wants to. So this ball's underthrown a little bit. Cason and man-to-man on Berrien gets caught looking in the backfield. And boy, is he not lucky that ball was underthrown, because he was beat.
That's 6 misses in a row for McNabb. Not all of them his fault. But that one a bit underthrown. Cooley kicking away. Walters has been tentative all day. Just out to the 35-yard line. 42-yard punt, 7 yards on the return. 17 up, 4th quarter, 8:11 to play here in San Diego, the opener. And that's bad news for the Chargers. Luis Castillo, their former #1 pick, being taken off the field on the cart. Matthews with a bounce out and a 1st down. A late flag down. Might be a personal foul.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late head out downs. Defense number 23. Penalty, 1st down.
Boy, that's a killer in a game like this. That's 15 big ones. Next Sunday, Fox Sports is proud to bring you exciting coverage of the Barclays Premier League as Manchester United takes on Chelsea in a match between 2 of soccer's greatest teams. Coverage begins Sunday in high definition on Fox. Check local listings for the start time in your area. Ball moved up inside the Viking 40. The check down to Hester. Behind him, he had to fall down to catch it. Ron Pitts, Jim Moore, give me your thoughts right now. Tied up here, just under 8 minutes to play.
Well, what's interesting here is that are they going to be able to convert another field goal if they can't push it into the end zone, which they've struggled to do today? And the Vikings need to come up with some offense. You know, enough of this run, don't convert on 3rd down. We need to open up the playbook a little bit.
2nd and 10 pass. Everything has been short, but somewhat effective. That's Hester.
Well, it's short because the Vikings are disciplined down the field. You know, they're playing good sound coverage down the field, and they're forcing Rivers to dump it down. And to Rivers' credit, he's not trying to force things down the field, because he knows if he does against this type of defense, there's going to be interceptions, there's going to be incompletions. And so, once again, it's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. He's taken what the defense has given him, and that's the dump off.
A pickup of 6. The great catch by Gates. A high ball, and Gates goes up and snags it. A pickup of 13 and a first.
Well, the Vikings brought pressure again, Ronnie. They brought it off the edge. Rivers felt it coming, slipped up into the pocket, was patient, was poised, and put the ball where only his guy could catch it.
This is the end of the field in the third quarter, where the Chargers threw the interception. Just inside the red zone falls Tolbert.
This is a big down right here. Big set of downs for both teams. You know, once again, we saw Cyphers come in there and kick that 40-yard field goal, but can he do it again? You know, and I think that's kind of what Leslie and Pugic are thinking on defense. You know, we'll give up a little bit of stuff underneath, but let's not give them a touchdown. Let's force them to kick a field goal.
Pressure backside, Rivers moving, looking. There's his man, Tolbert. Touchdown. The third touchdown of the day for Mike Tolbert, and the first lead of the day for the San Diego Chargers.
And that time, Ronnie, the Vikings brought pressure. They dropped Jared Allen, and it bit him. It rose up and bit him. And this is the new rule in the NFL here. If you're wondering why is it taking so long to get the extra point off, there's a new rule in the NFL where every touchdown play will be reviewed. The official on the field's got to wait until he gets a signal from the booth upstairs that it is indeed a touchdown, and then the extra point can proceed.
And you heard the whistle. It's confirmed. It's a touchdown. Cyphers pushed that one a little, but it goes through the yellow pipes, and that's all that matters. 17 unanswered points by the team that starts slow but finishes strong. You're getting a first-hand look at it. 24-17 Chargers. A look at the scoring drive, 6 plays, 64 yards. And a career day for Tolbert, 3 touchdowns. A career record for him in a single game. Vikings needing to get something going on offense. 3 possessions in the second half, 3 punts. Cyphers will kick it away to Booker. And he'll put it out of bounds. Cyphers might want to go back up into the office and get a new extension. Maybe he signed that extension too soon.
Here's a look at the touchdown. I was wrong. They are rushing Jared Allen. But what makes this even more disturbing is you got Chad Greenway and E.J. Henderson, 2 really good linebackers, making an error of coming up and trying to support a quarterback who's not going to run the football and letting Tolbert get in behind him for a touchdown. That's really not an excusable error for 2 players of that caliber. Philip Rivers runs about a 6'5", 40. He's not going to run for a first down. Stay in coverage. Keep the ball in front of you. Don't give him the chance to dump it over the top.
McNabb will open up passing. Peterson taken down quickly. Let's go to Los Angeles for a game break.
Kevin Cobb finding a way to answer the challenge of the rookie Cam Newton. This helps. Given the early due set, he breaks a tackle and takes it 70 yards for the score. Cobb just under 300 yards on the day and 2 touchdowns. Game's all tied at 21 in the fourth. Ron and Jim.
Kurt, we've got our own tied-up issues down here. We did for a while. Now it's 24-17. All over Peterson. And all of a sudden, the Chargers defense comes alive.
A miscommunication in the backfield there with Peterson going one way, McNabb the other. And that right there is simply a function of not working together long enough. And here we are in another 3rd and long. This gives the Chargers a chance to pin their ears back and come after McNabb.
Antonio Garay, a loss of 2. Pressure. McNabb goes down. Antoine Barnes with the sack.
Nothing fancy about this here. Just a 4-man rush. Going to collapse the pocket down, push the offensive lineman right back into the lap. And like I said, if you allow the 49ers to get you, or I'm sorry, the San Diego Chargers to get you in 3rd and long with the rush they have coming off the edge, you are asking for trouble offensively.
A loss of 10 yards, Cluey out of the end zone. A good kick. Fair catch call, but Walters had plenty of room. He could have at least gotten it back up to the 45. We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world watching today's broadcast in 175 countries on AFN, the American Forces Network. Thank you for all you do, and we hope you're enjoying today's telecast.
Ronnie, I had the opportunity to go to Iraq this summer on a coach's tour with the USO, and you cannot believe what it means to our troops overseas to have football being played this year. The number one question we got at every base we went to was, are we going to have football? And for us to be able to give them football today on 9/11 is just magnificent.
The dunk. Hester loses it. And lucky for him, that ball rolls out of bounds. A crushing hit by Antoine Winfield, but a pickup of 7.
I've had some favorite players over the years. I like tough guys. I got guys like Ronnie Lott, guys like Brett Favre, guys like Terry Bradshaw, one of my all-time favorites. This guy's slipping his way up in there, because to see a guy of his stature come up and tackle the way he does and show the toughness that he does, you cannot help but respect him.
And the hard count.
Encroachment. Number 9. Penalty. 1st down.
LaTroy Guyon. Let's listen in.
Our audio is fantastic.
It's been great all day.
But let me just say this, okay? This guy is lined up about 2 feet from the football. All right, put cotton in your ears and watch the ball and get off on the snap.
So the Chargers now will keep it on the ground. No gain on the play. Will force the Vikings to call timeouts, and there's 1.
30-second timeout.
The Vikings offense, meanwhile, as Tolbert gets up limping, he's put in a day's work. He can't even make it off the field. Meanwhile, the Vikings offense, 21 second half yards.
They haven't had any effectiveness throwing the football all day. And they had early success running the football, but the Chargers did a nice job adjusting defensively. They've gotten the lead now. Now they're going to be forced to throw. and it's going to be tough here. Now, if I'm Norv Turner here, and look, I've been wrong a lot of time on the sideline, but I'm going to run the football again, make them use a timeout, and then on third down, I'm going to run it again, make them use their last timeout. If I don't get it, punt it down there and put it on my defense, who's played magnificent in the second half.
Clock is stopped. 2-minute warning coming up. 2nd and 10. Safe throws. That's Matthews. Matthews will turn it up and then get the first down, and that hurts the Vikings. And he stayed in bounds.
Yeah, that's a great decision, just getting it out to the flat, checking it down, throwing it short to your running back. One thing that Phillip Rivers does a great job of and has throughout his career is utilize his backs in his pass route. You know, he's not afraid to dump it down to his back.
Chargers in this half with 17 unanswered points, and the last drive was the one that did it. The penalty, the 15-yarder on the tackle out of bounds, moves the ball up. The great catch by Gates going up high, showing you why he's the Pro Bowler. And then this guy has had the career day, really. Not just in numbers, but I think in everything he's been able to do for this team.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Another timeout taken by the Vikings. They've got one left.
You know, you talk about Tolbert, Ronnie, and for me it all goes back to that third down play where he put his head down and pulled his way for the first down, and the next play they score a touchdown. And to me, that was about attitude. You know, the Chargers in the past have been accused of being soft. Okay, when you've got a guy like Tolbert running the football the way he has today, no one can accuse you of being soft. But unfortunately, he's laying on his back right now.
Well, he deserves to lay on his back after that performance. He shouldered the load last year. Came in from Coastal Carolina, small college back east. And this guy has no problem running the football when asked to. And they've joked with him. They say he's a halfback in a fullback's body. They've nicknamed him the human dance machine. But he has come up big today. No timeouts for the Vikings, and the hard count is killing it.
Offside, defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, LaTroy Guion again, you know, the young guy having to fill the shoes of Kevin Williams. Not easy, but you cannot make those mistakes at this point in the game. You're a defensive lineman. You're lined up right over the ball. Look at the football.
Block 15! Block!
Chargers with Matthews back to the run game. It started out all Minnesota. Harvin with the 103-yard kick return for a touchdown. Longwell added a field goal. Jenkins with a touchdown. And then the Chargers came back, and it's been Chargers ever since. That's the 2-minute warning.
We've talked a lot about the Vikings defense. We've talked a lot about the Chargers offense. But how about the Chargers defense today? 28 pass yards allowed against a... How about that? How about Phillip Rivers? How about that? What a magnificent use of the cadence. That's the third time in this drive that he's drawn the defense offside.
5-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's
and
4 for the game.
And that one, Ronnie, that one ends the game because now they can flop.
That's on Fred Evans. Time permitting, we will take you to the end of the Redskins-Giants game. They've got about 4 minutes left. Washington up right now, 28-14. Time permitting, we will fold you into that game.
You know, Leslie Frazier's got to be livid right now, and he's not going to show it because he's a man of composure. But one of the strengths of this team, this defensive team, the Minnesota defense, has been their discipline. Last year, they had the fewest first downs allowed by defensive penalty of anybody in the National Football League with 11. and they're just in the game with a defensive penalty that allows a first down. And when you're a defensive coach, and it's something that's all about discipline, that's not about technique, that's not about fundamentals, that's not about being mentally smart, that's just about discipline. That's about paying attention to the details. That's about keeping your eye on the ball. And he'll get that stuff cleaned up. I know Leslie will get it cleaned up. But Ronnie, how about these Chargers today? Boy, it started out bleak for them. They had all the special teams woes last year. They give up a touchdown on the first play of the game. They talked about starting fast in September. 1-0 after week 1.
And Norv Turner, barring a miracle here for the Vikings, this will be his 100th regular season victory. He had beaten just about every team in the NFL except for the Minnesota Vikings.
You thinking we might see a Miracle of the Meadowlands play here?
You never know. It's been a wild year. The team that finished number 1 in the NFL on offense and defense, the Chargers last year, but didn't even make the playoffs. And all anyone ever talked about was the slow starts. Well, that's a faster start. After a slow start in the game, they finish it with a victory. So the final here in San Diego, the Chargers 24, the Minnesota Vikings 17. We'll be back in San Diego to wrap things up right after this.